Jesus was called a friend of sinners, but later that same sinners became church planters, apostles, pastors, and missionaries.
You're watching a session from Steiger's Online Intensive Training. This event was recorded with live translation, so you'll notice some cuts throughout the video to make it easier for you to view it. The speaker for this video is Matthew Zyrianov, who is the Kyiv City Team leader in Ukraine. We hope that this is a useful tool for you. Enjoy the conversation.
On 21st of February, the war started in Ukraine. And it was a real chaos, and there was no understanding what to do, what's going to be happen next, and what is this the end of the world. But we as Ukrainians, we felt so much love and care from our mission. I received hundreds of messages from all around the world. I remember reading these prayers, cries, and support and realizing I'm not alone in this world. Our girls, our wives could find a shelter in our center in Germany. And they were covered with love and prayers and support. Our Polish, German, English brothers and sisters worked days and nights to do at least something, everything they could. So we're a family. We're not just doing work together. But at the same time, what we see in this generation is people who wants to be a part of family, but they're not. And yesterday, Luke was saying that this is a generation of loneliness. So what do? In 1 Thessalonians 2:8, it says, because we loved you so much, we were delighted to share with you not only the gospel of God, but our lives as well. Our goal in Steiger is not just to preach the gospel and forget about those people, but also to share our lives deeply and sacrificially with those who are reached. We call it a discipleship relationships. A discipleship relationships is sharing life with someone, not expecting them to come to us, but going to where they are and intentionally showing them what it means to follow Jesus in their context. It means making prayer and the Bible accessible and understandable and helping them to get connected with a local church. For us, discipleship relationship does not start the day someone commits to a local church, but the moment when they meet a follower of Jesus. But why so? If we go back to roots and check what was Jesus doing, we would find that he often was doing discipleship for those who didn't fit into religious demographics. He, Jesus, was called a friend of sinners. But later, that same sinners became church planters, apostles, pastors, and missionaries. Jesus was teaching in the communities, a lot of times sharing food. Jesus often taught outside religious places. He was teaching in homes, near vessels, on the streets, sometimes in temples. Discipleship relationships is not some program that happened once in a week. It is a lifestyle of sharing everything. There's somehow this idea in our heads that, if only we had this brand new idea for our event, so many non-church our friends would come. But it is all about being present and building relationships more than thinking of strategies. And of course, there's some methods that can help. But foundation for good discipleship is relationships, not in events. Again, if we go back to Jesus, he was not coming to his disciples once or twice a week to teach them something. He intentionally spent all of his days and nights with them, all of his good times and bad times. Discipleship relationship does not have to happen in a church or a classroom. It can be in a context where people came from. When we read Acts, we see that disciples were going to the end of the earth to preach the gospel and plant churches. But do you know what they were not doing? They were not sitting in Jerusalem or Rome and expecting that people would just magically come to them. That's why we need to be where people are. And yesterday, Felipe was sharing such a great ideas about that. Discipleship relationship is a key part of every Steiger City team around the world. It is like we're inviting them into our family and then fighting for them on their way to be radical followers of Jesus because they would disciple others. We also see it in the Bible, 12 men who changed the world because Jesus was with them for 3 years and poured everything he had into them. And Bible study for non-religious is one of the tools we can use to help these discipleship relationships grow. It's an opportunity for those who is interested and wants to know more to join an open discussion around the Bible. It's a place where anyone can ask questions, share thoughts, and discover the truth. Usually this would happen on like a neutral territory, like a cafe or an open space. The Bible will always be in the center of it, usually like a small passage from the gospel. And then there's going to be a long discussion, with everyone sharing their thoughts. And David was saying a great thing like a few minutes ago, because Bible study for non-religious can work in any context. And I have a few pictures to just show it to you. This is a Bible study with amazing people from Brazil. This one is with awesome Polish guys. And this is a picture from Ukraine, Kiev. There is much more all around the world. I remember when we started Bible study in Kiev a few years ago, and we've seen experience of our friends in Brazil, US, Poland, New Zealand, everywhere. And we've seen it and we wanted something like that. We wanted God to move supernaturally in our context. Our Bible study, the first one, was in a cafe in the center of a city. 13 people came and there was ups and downs since then. Sometimes 30 people would show up, or sometimes 1 or 2. There was some month where transgender guys would come all the time. Sometimes drug addicts or drug dealers would come, and we all would sit together and read the Bible. This guy you see in the picture, his name is Sergey. He came to a Bible study, and the first thing he said was, I am an atheist and I don't believe in Bible. When he was coming back and asked so many questions about God, faith, God's plan for his life, Jesus, reality of hell, and everything together. Bible was speaking to him, and he felt love and acceptance from our team. Soon he experienced his presence during one of our worship times, and he said, I never experienced anything close to that. Later, he gave his life to Jesus and got baptized, becoming a true part of community of Jesus Christ. This is Sergey 1.5 years later. He's preaching the gospel in the streets of Kiev. Not only preaching, but he's leading a team for a street evangelism in the midst of a crazy war, praying for strangers and sharing his own life and his experience with God. This is a true story of a radical change in life. If you want to learn more about Bible study for non-religious, if you use your laptop, you can just take your phone and this is a QR code, you can scan it, or there's a website. Because Bible study is a great tool, and maybe soon you can lead one in your city. Some of our teams live together in community houses, creating an environment for discipleship relationships to grow. This is truly day-to-day discipleship, living life together, eating meals, hosting events, doing Bible studies, helping each other in the very good times and in the very bad times. Usually community is located in a strategic area, and it's like a dynamic hub for a missions action. Community house is an amazing tool in modern world, because people want to belong. They want to be a part of something, of some community. We live in a community house, me and my wife, and there's 8 more people. You see our house, you see our team in the picture. It is called Dom, which actually just means home. For us, it's the place that we open for everyone and anyone who wants to know God, receive prayer, spend some time together, just have some meal together, or just make friends. And we do a bunch of weekly events like Bible studies, some spiritual nights, tea ceremonies, movie nights, open mic nights, and many, many more. Hundreds and thousands of people came through our house in the last 2 years. And as Anya was saying, just recently, community house was opened in Wrocław. And I'm sure that these guys will make a great work for God's kingdom. So if you can, please write down a message of encouragement for them, because community life is fun, but it's also hard. And since March 2021, we've seen many radical transformations in lives of many people. But one of them is really special for me. This guy, his name is Timur. We met him on a street during an evangelism during the pandemic, it was crazy time. He was open to the gospel. He started coming to our Bible study into a community house. Then he started coming just for coffee and time together. He said he always wanted to find God, but he actually never read the Bible before. And he struggled to find a community that he could fit into. He has a bunch of weird demon tattoos all around his body. So later he started to help with our Bible studies and also just become part of our community. Sometimes he would cook food for us. He would share his struggles, his ideas, plans for futures. In August, he was baptized. And we decided that it's an amazing time for him to come and live with us. He started growing spiritually, mentally, and he became a true follower of Jesus. Soon he was preaching to others on the streets. And during events in the house, he was sharing the gospel. Because of war in Ukraine, he had to come back to his original city in Western Ukraine. Now he's a part of a church there, and he took 2 young guys, 15-year-old guys who have the same problems as he had, and is helping them right now. Now, this guy, Timur, 2 years ago, he was just trying to find God. Now he's making disciples. I want to show you a short video that was made before the war started, just for you to see kind of like a glimpse of what was going on and what's going on still in a community house in Ukraine.
Кто третий в пару? Давай, кто третий?
Okay, yeah.
Саша,
I'm so radical. All these people mad at you. This for who it matter to. What if we made Steiger Jesus? You gon'
И сердце рвется в ты на разрыв, и времени нет сожалеть о былом тогда. Иисуса Христа. Аминь.
This generation, they need to experience a real godly community. This is the only thing that can change the world. And I believe that the community house is a place for every single city.
Thanks for watching this session from Steiger's Online Intensive Training. Want to watch more? Click here for the next video.